Hey there everybody, it's Eric Strock with Stone Valley Hobby and Games. This is the continuation of game night, and tonight we're going to take our friend Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, and we're going to pit her against our good old nemesis, Rhino. I can tell you what, people, it was not good. We did She-Hulk versus Claw, and Claw just clawed her down tight, so I think we're going to go and try to do force on force. So I think we're going to try She-Hulk versus Rhino, but not just any Rhino. We're going to do the advanced Rhino. We're going to add the tougher cards, and we're going to change out the bomb scare for a tighter enemy, and we're going to give that a try. So let's see how it goes. Well, let's see what we got going on here. So I'm not going to go over the whole setup on the table because that's covered in a lot of my previous videos, so I'll make you go back and watch those. But since we're going to do expert, I'm going to add the expert cards. So you add the 3 expert cards. So those will go, I'll just slide them in there like this for now. Then instead of the bomb scare, I'm going to add the Masters of Evil. So we'll say that they went from the claw and then they decided to help out Rhino. And then, of course, since I'm playing She-Hulk, you got to add the obligation in there. And so that is the bad guy deck. I don't know, because She-Hulk is so strong, I think my concept here is to just try to swing through as hard as I can and hope that the theme and the schemes don't take me out. Now you notice I've left out the side scheme. That's because I'll need that in a second to go with the Rhino number 2. So we'll go ahead and randomize these cards up here. Randomization is the key, as always. I appreciate you watching the videos. They're interesting, and I myself like watching videos and listening to podcasts when I'm not actually playing myself. See what else is out there. I can tell you though, this game still has a lot of legs on it. Even though the new sets were just released, I haven't even made it through this set yet to be able to open those up, so look forward to those in the future though. We'll be playing the new add-ons that just came out, releasable. They were available December 20th, so that might be telling you how old this video is. Alright, so the She-Hulk, if you get the cards right, can punch like a tank. She uses the aggression style cards, and there's really even though her lawyer or attorney side can stop one threat on a scheme, and one of her allies can really help against schemes, that's about it. There's not a lot of scheme help for She-Hulk, so if you get stuck with a lot of threatening on the schemes, it's not going to last long, and that's the problem with Claw. Depending on how you draw the Claw deck, it could be 2 or 3 side schemes in a single turn, and those could be populating so quickly there's just no way to win, literally. So we'll get these randomized up here. Shuffle, shuffle, and shuffle. All right. I'll cut it. All right, now we'll set them up. So first we got contents. Got the Rhino 2, Rhino 3. Added the expert cards in. We added the modular set. We used a different one besides Bob's card like we talked about earlier. Okay, Rhino is trying to smash through the facility and steal a shipment of Vibrium. So that starts off with a counter on it. Oops, not 5. That's awkward. 1 is better. And then when Rhino 2 is revealed, Breaking and Taken pops out, and it says you place an additional threat per person here, so it starts off with 3, 2 for the base, 1 and 2, and then 1 more for the 1 player, for me. And that is how we start. So I will draw. Jennifer Walters has 6. And the interesting thing about Jennifer Walters is her alter ego has 6, and then her actual She-Hulk has 4, so you lose 2 cards when you switch her to the She-Hulk, so you better be ready to hammer time when you switch over. Alright, so, well, lucky me, I got Hellcat right off the bat, which is very beneficial for Scheme. See if I can save that one. I'm going ahead and spend 3. So once again, real quick, up here is the cost of the card, and then down here in the corner of the card is its symbol, and that's how much this card is worth when you trade it in, basically. So that's 3 to pay for Hellcat. He's going to discard. And I'm going to tap her to remove 2 from this. That's another thing. If you see this symbol here, the little card symbol, it means that he gets an additional encounter card whenever it's his turn, just so you understand what that means. And because she takes a damage from thwart. Then, let's see. I will go ahead. I'll leave her as Jennifer Walters. So I will unexhaust the Hellcat and draw to 6. And I will pass the turn to the Rhino. So since the Rhino is since I'm in alter ego form, he's going to scheme for 1, and he's going to add nothing to it. So 1 more scheme on the main scheme. He's going to draw an encounter card. Radioactive Man comes out. And because of the Breaking and Taken, he gets another encounter card. And he gets the Sandman. Sandman comes into play with the Tough Status card. The next time this character would take any amount of damage, discard this card instead. Since they just came in on the encounter side, they do not get to attack or scheme this round, but they will next round. So, actually when he went to scheme, I'm going to use her power to get rid of it. But as soon as it turned to be the turn, it was there anyway, so that's actually proper now. Make sure the board state is good. It's all good. So they returned the turn back to me. And looks like I need to get working here. So I'm going to change her to She-Hulk. After I change to this form, deal 2 damage to an enemy. I'm going to deal 2 damage to Sandman, which takes his tough off. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do that differently. I'm going to do 2 damage to the Radioactive Man, to whittle him down a little bit. Hellcat is going to thwart the breaking and taken scheme, which gets rid of that. So he only gets 1 encounter card per turn now. And let's see what we got in here. Okay. So I'm going to attack with the She-Hulk for 3 on the Radioactive Man. I'm going to pay, let's see, I'm going to pay 1. And 2. Oh, we need that one. And 2. Oh, I'm going to pay 1 for the 1-2 punch, which means I can bring her back to ready. And I can pay 2 with energy. Just got the 2 symbols down here. For ground stomp, which does 1 damage to each enemy. And it takes the tough card off. And it takes Rhino down to 14. And then I will attack the Radioactive Man. Knocking him out. And then for 0, I'm going to play Chase Them Down. After the hero attacks and defeats an enemy, remove 2 threats from a scheme. I'll remove 2 threats from the break-in. And then I will ready my cards. I will draw to a hand size of 4. And then I will pass the turn. So first thing we do is we put a threat on the scheme. Since I'm in She-Hulk form, the Rhino is going to attack for 3, and he adds nothing. So 3 it is. 15, 14, 13, 12. Then the Sandman's going to also attack for 3. 11, 10, 9. Then the encounter. It is an ivory horn, and the only way I can get rid of it is by doing 3 of the attack symbols. Gives them +1 to attack. And that is their turn. Comes to my turn. Going to switch to Jennifer Walters. I'm going to pay 3. 1, 2, 3 for the Mockingbird. I'm going to exhaust Jennifer Walters for 5 recovery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which takes me back to 14. After Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. And I will stun the Rhino. Then I will finish my turn. I will ready my cards. Then, so I'm in alter ego form. So the first thing we do is we put threat on the scheme. Then he schemes for 1 and adds nothing to it. And she's going to use her power to prevent that. And then the Sandman schemes for 2. And then their encounter is Assault, Alter Ego. The card gains Surge, which means I draw a card. And it's a Hydra Mercenary. It has Guard. So as long as the Hydra Mercenary is there, I cannot attack Rhino. That ends Rhino's turn, and it returns back to my turn. The first thing I'm going to... I should have drawn 6 cards, by the way, at the end of my turn. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to return Hellcat to my hand. Okay, taking a real quick look at what we have here. So I just check in to see what we can do. So I'm going to switch to the She-Hulk, and when I do, it does 2 damage to an enemy. And I will do it to the Hydra Mercenary. Then I will use the power of aggression, which does double the number of resources, so it provides 2 resources for a red card. And then I'm going to pay the 3rd resource with first aid to bring in Tigra. What Tigra does is attacks and defeats a minion and heals 1 damage. So I'm going to attack the Hydra Mercenary, and the damage I would go to where is healed. Then I'm going to pay 1, 2, and 3 to bring back Hellcat. And I'm going to use Hellcat to thwart the scheme for 2. Oh, I guess I should have got rid of you. Then I'm going to attack the Sandman for 3. And then I'm going to ping him for 1 with Mockingbird. And that eliminates Sandman. And then I will ready my cards and draw to 4. Then I will pass the turn to Rhino. First thing we do is we put a threat on the scheme. Since I'm in hero form, he's going to attack, but he discards this instead because he's stunned, so I'm not even going to draw the attack card. But then he gets his, and it says, hero, villain, and each minion engaged with you attacks you, so he gets to attack me anyway. So he gets a +1 to attack, so he gets 4 to attack, and then his bonus is exhaust each ally I control. And I will not defend, so I will take 4. Gets me down to 10. And then it's my turn. I'm going to attack for 3. Takes him to 11. Then I'm going to pay 1 for 1/2 punch, bring her back to the ready state. Then I'll attack for 3 more. 10, 9, 8. And I will switch her to Jennifer Walters. Then I'll ready my cards. Draw out my hand size of 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And pass the turn. So first thing we do is we put a threat on the scheme. The Rhino schemes for 1, and he adds 1 to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is take rid of one of the schemes with her attorney, and then the other one with emergency costs nothing. When the villain schemes, reduce the amount of threat placed on the scheme by 1, so he schemes no more. And then the encounter card, Alter Ego, gains Surge, so I draw. Surge, when revealed, exhaust your identity card. Draw again. Whoops. And when revealed, the villain schemes. So he schemes 1. All right. Turn passes to me. I'm checking my options here. Not too many, but I'm going to have to get rid of some of that schemage. So I'm going to use the Hellcat to thwart 2. I'm going to pay 0 for legal practice. And what that does is choose to discard up to 5 cards from my hand. So I'm going to discard Hellcarrier, Superhuman Law Division, and that's it. To get rid of 2 more scheme, or threat on the scheme. And then I will peg for 1 more. To get rid of the last one. And I will attack with Tigra for 2, taking him to 6. And then I will ready. Draw my hand size to 6. Make sure that none of these are okay. So she's an alter ego. He is going to come at me with the schemage. So he's going to scheme for 1. She's going to object. Get rid of the 1, and he's going to add 1 to it. So he gets 2 total, 1 for the turn start, and then 1 for him scheming. Then the encounter card. Attached to Rhino, when any amount of damage would be dealt to Rhino, place it here instead. Then if there is at least 5 damage here, discard it. So it gets another add-on. You can absorb 5 damage for it. turn passes to me. I'm going to return Hellcat to my hand. Let's see what we got here. So he's to 6 health in this, but he's got the armor on. So what I'm going to do is pay 1, 2 for the Hulk. I'm going to switch her, so it does 2 damage to that suit. I'm going to have Tigra attack and do 2 more damage. And then I'm going to have Mockingbird ping it for 1 more, which removes the suit. Then I'm going to attack him for 3. 5, 4, 3. And Hulk takes damage. And then you discard a card. And we discard the Hulk. And then I'm going to attack Rhino for his last 3, which takes him to his next Rhino number 3. He enters to play with toughness, and he stuns each hero. And he's still got his ivory horn. I'm going to pay 2 for the Genius and 1 to bring out the Hellcat. And she is going to thwart for 2. So as you can tell already, it's a much different game when you have Hellcat out. You actually can keep up with the threat. Might be a reason to mulligan with this until you can get to her. I need to build my hand back up, so I'm going to switch back to Jennifer Walters. Ready. Oh wait, she was. I switched her already, didn't I? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's correct. Then I draw to 4. 2, 3, and 4. She's still readied. And pass the turn. A threat on the scheme. he's going to scheme for 1, and he's going to add nothing to it. Then the encounter card, Rhino deals 4 damage. If no damage was healed this way, the card gains surge. Or he heals 4 damage. Sorry. So he's actually at max health because he just came out. So yeah, 16. So the card gains surge. Forced interrupt. When Rhino attacks, the attack gains overkill. Excess damage to an ally from this attack is dealt to that ally's controller. At the end of this attack, discard charge. So that's going to be pretty tough his next turn. He's going to charge me with the Ivory Horn, and he already has 4 attack. Oh, actually, he should have attacked already. Then that was the encounter. So he's attacking. Oh, goodness. Oh, no, he did attack. And then it was 0. So I took 5. And then the encounter was to add the charge, which will be his next. Okay. My turn. I'm going to pay, well, I'm going to attack, and she's stunned, so that loses that. I'm going to pay the Avengers Mansion to bring her back to the ready. I'm going to thwart for 2. Going to attack for 3. Oh, I can't. He just loses the tough card, so he doesn't take any damage. Then I'm going to change to my alter ego. And ready. Draw to 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And pass the turn. So add a threat to the scheme. Rhino adds another threat and adds 1 to it for 2 more. She's going to get one of those with her object. I object. The encounter. Alter ego, it gains surge. Each Master of Evil minion attacks the hero if it's engaged with. No attacks are made this way. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Masters of Evil minion and put it into play engaged with you. Let's see, the first one is the Melter. And then shuffle the encounter deck. Turn passes to me. And I will again return Tigra to my hand. Not Tigra, Hellcat. All right. I'm going to pay 2 fight for strength and 1 more for legal practice to have him get rid of this card. Oh, that's a hero action. No, I can't do that. I can't do that yet because I got to be in hero form. I will heal for 5. Takes you back to 10. I'm looking to see here. I don't want to pay for the Hellcat again. Well, actually, I can. I don't have to worry about getting rid of his +1 attack, so I'll pay 3 to bring out Hellcat again. And I will use her to thwart. And I will attack Rhino for 2 with Tigra. Takes her out. Takes him to 14. And I will use the Power of Aggression, which counts for 2 for red cards, plus 3 for Tech Team. Tech Team comes into play with 3 counters on it. And I'm going to exhaust it, remove a counter from it, and do 2 more damage to the Rhino. 12. Then I will draw to 6, so as soon as I take this card is set aside because he gets an extra encounter card. Then I shuffle these. So I think it's a little early yet, but because I'm able to keep the threat down, I may be able to get to him if I can time the charge right. But we'll see what we draw here now that we get all our cards back. The Rhino does punch hard, but I've been not too shabby with some of the draws for his threat. All right. Two, three, 4, 5, 6. Going to keep her in Jennifer Walters mode and pass the turn. So we put a threat on the scheme. Rhino adds one more, and she's going to object, but he gets to add 2 to it. So 2 more go on there. And then the melter adds 1 more. 4. Then the first encounter card. Reveal the top card of the encounter deck. He gets another charge. That's insane. Yeah, so I'm going to have to time this very, very carefully. And it gains surge. So we get a side scheme here. So what this does, that symbol means it adds an accelerator to the main scheme. Discard cards from the encounter deck until a Masters of Evil minion is discarded. And the very last card. So I'll shuffle these up. So what happens next is whenever you shuffle the encounter deck, you put another surge counter on the main scheme. So as it stands, there's the 1 surge from the side scheme, but he'll get another one from the main scheme. He's also got double charges. So it's not looking good for the home team right this second, which is why it's never good to just sit on these guys. Okay. So I have the other. And this comes into play with 3 scheme on it. And the turn comes back to me. All right, so I'm going to switch her to the She-Hulk and do 2 damage to take him to 10. Then I'm going to exhaust the attack team which does 2 more, taking him to 8. I'm going to attack the Rhino for 3, 7, 6, 5. I'm going to pay 1 for the 1-2 punch to bring her back. Five, huh? I'm going to pay 1 and 2 for Hulk. I'm going to have the Hulk swing at him for 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then discard a card. And he's gone again. He does not like this deck today. He's down to 2. And with that, I can attack with She-Hulk again, and it takes him down. So he had 2 charges plus Ivory Horn, and he had a double accelerator on, so I had to beat him this round, and I had just the right amount of cards to do it. So once again, Marvel Champions, the card game, is always a thriller. So we were able to take out the advanced Rhino, the expert Rhino with She-Hulk. So she's a good clobberer, and she can take out the other good clobberer. Well, that's tonight's game. It's Eric Strock with Stone Valley Hobby and Games. I'm glad you were here and enjoyed the game with me. Y'all have a good night or day, wherever you're at. Bye-bye.